I went from hating running to running 2 half marathons in a year. I always hated cardio until I fell in love with running exactly in October of last year. Growing up, I was never an athletic kid. I always tried to skip gym class. I was just not a fan of it. My body is also not a runner's body. I actually have a disadvantage in running because of my body composition. I posted a video about a year ago on my socials about how I was unable to run for more than 10 minutes straight on a treadmill in an easy pace. Now, you're probably wondering how I went from not being able to run for 10 minutes straight to running 2 half marathons in a year and running a sub 26 minute 5K. I'm here to help you. This is exactly what this video is about. And to that, my answer is consistency, a good playlist, and a structured plan. I used NRC, the Nike Run Club app, when I first started. Absolutely love and adore Coach Bennett, but then I transitioned to using the app Runna. The reason why I transitioned to Runna is because it's more customizable to your goal, to your pace, and it progresses as you progress, while NRC was a little bit less customizable. These are my Strava run stats when I first started. 8 minutes per kilometer was the best I could do at the time. Since day one of my running journey, I chose to stick to running 3 days per week as my plan, and I've been consistent to that ever since. It's been a year and I've been running 3 days per week for this entire year. Sunday is usually my long run day. Tuesdays I do some speed workouts, tempos, or hill training, and on Friday it's an easy run. Not only was I not a runner, I also live in a really cold city, and I started my running journey in the winter when it was snowing, extremely cold outside, and I was not about to run out in the cold. Thankfully though, treadmills exist. I know that running on a treadmill is a lot more boring than running outside. Trust me, I would much rather run outside than on a treadmill, but I had to use what I had to use at the time. Now, remember how I said I started with the NRC app before transitioning into Runna, and I think that actually helped me at being more consistent because NRC does give you a more beginner-friendly plan at the start, where Runna can be a little bit more aggressive. I kept running 3 days per week until I was able to hold a 10K distance, and then I signed up for a 10K race. At that point, I was unstoppable. My ego was high. I was so happy I could run a 10K nonstop, and the race seemed like a reward because you get a medal at the end, and I love collecting medals. At least collecting medals is like my new hobby right now as a runner. After my first 10K race, I signed up for my first half marathon. I thought to myself, if I could run a 10K, then for sure I could run a half marathon, which is just double the distance. And I was right. I was able to run a half marathon. I stuck to a plan through Runna. I followed through with it. The plan was similar to what I was doing before, 3 running days per week. So it wasn't any much more intense than I was doing before. So I was still able to be consistent with it. You gotta stick to the number of days that you think is realistic for you to be able to be consistent on the long run. My first half marathon wasn't as easy as I was expecting. I didn't know much about fueling. I didn't know much about carb loading at the time. I was just running because I enjoyed running. I followed through my plan. I finished my plan, and I thought that I was gonna finish this half marathon super easy as I did with my 10K race. But oh boy, was I wrong. I almost crashed at the 17-kilometer mark just before the finish line. I'm 26. I'm not that young. My hips were killing me during that race, but I kept pushing. I didn't stop. I didn't walk. I kept pushing. My pace became so slow at the end, but I kept running until I finished the half marathon. You'll be surprised to learn how much your body can push because a lot of it is in your head. After I finished my first half marathon, I signed up for a second half marathon. Runner's high is a thing, and once you get a medal, you want another medal, and as a materialistic girly pop myself, I wanted a third medal. And the half marathon that I signed up for after my first one was only 4 months after. That's when I up. I think I needed more time in recovery between my 2 half marathons. I was aiming for a personal best on my second half marathon that was a little bit too high, too unattainable. I was being delusional. I only actually finished 2 minutes faster in my second half marathon than I did in my first half marathon, and I burnt out. Training for long distance running shouldn't be rushed. And I think next time if I do train for a half marathon, I'm gonna stick to like a 6-month plan or even longer. I'm gonna extend it as much as I can to actually get the benefits of training for a longer period of time and recovering properly. So if you take away one thing from this video and one thing only, it's do not rush your running plan, do not rush training, and do not sign up for the race if you're not ready yet. I mentioned earlier that right now I'm still training 3 times per week for running. I am still using Runna for my running plan, but I'm not training for any official race. I'm just working on improving my 10K pace. After my second half marathon, I also realized that I do enjoy running distances between 10 to 14 kilometers a lot more than running 21 kilometers. So with this new plan of improving my 10K pace, I am actually sticking to a distance that I enjoy running and a distance that brings me joy. That way, my running workouts aren't dreaded, I don't hate them, and I'm always looking forward to them. Remember when I mentioned having a good playlist at the start of this video is one of the most important things when it comes to getting into running? Yeah, let's circle back to that. The more I ran, I realized that my energy and my mood is really determined by the music that I was listening to during the run that day. If I was listening to high beat, very happy, joyful music, or my hardstyle playlist, I'm a raver girl, so I love hardstyle, I was running fast, and I was really enjoying it a lot more than when I was listening to more chill music, stuff that doesn't bring me much energy, or just like my likes on shuffle, which was not an organized, well thought playlist for running. Now, if on any of my running days I am low energy and don't feel like running, I'll still run for 5 minutes and see how I feel about it. If after the 5 minutes I'm feeling still low energy and not able to run any longer, I'll stop. But if I don't feel that low energy anymore, I'll keep going. And the reason for that is because if I stop completely and not try for 5 minutes, I'm gonna kill the habit that I created with consistency, and that is something that's really hard to get back into once you kill the habit of consistency. As cliche as it sounds, running actually did change my life to the better. I feel healthier, I feel more athletic, and I feel like I'm actually enjoying my workouts now. This is also everything for today's video of how I went from being a non-runner, someone that hated cardio, to someone that loves and enjoys running so much. If you have any questions for me, comment them down below in the comment section. Don't forget to thumbs up this video and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. And I'll see you guys in my next video.